Welcome into the American Huddle as we gear up for Week 10 of the college football season, the marquee American matchup taking place tonight between Temple and UCF. To break it down for you, alongside college football analyst Andy Gresh, I'm Haley Outen. The two undefeated teams in the American's East Division square off. How instrumental is this game for both of these programs when it comes to the conference championship? I mean, it's massive, as we know, and we know that Central Florida is trying to get beyond that group of six game or this little spot that they get because they roll in the American Athletic Conference. And now, tonight is one of those nights, Haley, where I think this is where the ink-stained wretches of college football have the opportunity to watch Central Florida alone. Marquee matchup. Here we go. Let's see how good the Knights really are. And I think from the Knights standpoint, it's bigger than just a division in the conference. It's bigger than a conference championship. Tonight is a showcase where the rest of America can finally give this football team the respect they deserve if they go handle business. Both of these teams are coming off bye weeks. Who benefits the most from that extra prep time in this matchup?
I don't know if there really is one. I guess you'd say Central Florida because of the injury to Mackenzie Milton. So I guess I would lean that way. But I think that whenever you get to the bye week, it's almost like the pressure out of the balloon. It's like, oh my God, okay. Now we can rest and get mentally prepared for what is in front of us the rest of the year. So for me, not only is it physical, but it's as much a much needed mental break that I think will help both sides.
Two completely different situations at quarterback. You have the veteran at UCF, Mackenzie Milton. Then you have Anthony Russo from Temple, who's making just his 7th start. How much will experience play a factor in the outcome of this game?
I think it's big because to this point, we haven't seen Temple necessarily get into a game, Haley, to where they've got to score 45 points to be able to win with Anthony Russo as the trigger man and throwing the ball everywhere. So I think that, to me, I give the advantage to Mackenzie Milton. I know there's the whole he's coming off injury as well. Look, I think everybody around that Central Florida program knows what's at stake. So it's bigger than just one particular person. Russo, keep getting better. For Milton, it's not even about the Heisman anymore. It's trying to find a way into that Final Four.
You mentioned Milton coming off an extra week of rest since he sat out at ECU. However, the Knights were able to still put up points, no problem. Even with the freshman under center, they've scored at least 30 points in 20 straight games. For Temple, the story tends to be more about their defense. The Owls are 0-3 when the opponent has scored more than 18 points this season. How much pressure does that put on Russo and the Temple offense?
I think a lot, Haley, because the one thing we know about UCF, they're going to score pretty much against anybody, and if they struggle early, they end up figuring it out late. Look, for Temple, I think this is a game where we've talked about them all year. Defense, special teams have got to be a factor. Special teams have to be huge against Central Florida for them to be able to get a win. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to the two quarterbacks, you've got to give it to Milton over Russo. Not that Russo doesn't have it in him, but again, he's an ascending player who's still growing. We know what Mackenzie Milton is.
Andy, plain and simple, will UCF win their 21st game in a row and take sole possession of first place in the East Division standings?
Yes, they will, and I think they do it with a 17 to 20 point win. I think it's going to be a big gap here. I expect UCF to be able to score some late. Temple has done a really good job of finding a way to be competitive, and I expect early on in that first half, Jeff Collins and crew will have something to throw at UCF. Again, turnovers, big factor. UCF turns it over, now we're talking about a game. If Temple turns it over, UCF has the ability to extend and really put on a show with the world watching.
With Russo starting, Temple has won 5 of their last 6. What has to happen for Temple to pull off the upset?
I think I just mentioned it. They got to get turnovers. If they can be +2, +3 in the turnover ratio, they're going to have a great chance to win this game, and they got to win the kicking game. They got to button up the return yards. They can't give up big returns. Kickers and punters have got to be good. You got to get back UCF up. Try to get the best starting field position that you can if you're Temple. It's not going to be one thing, Haley. It's going to be a lot of little things they've got to do to beat a team as good as the Knights.
All right, should be an exciting game. Be sure to tune in at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. A lot on the line for the team that wants to control their destiny on the journey to the conference championship. We'll see you back here Saturday morning to continue breaking down all of the action around the conference.